Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and they just made a big update and didn't really put much words into this update, but there's a big reason that you should be stoked about it because one, it's all about Aberration, and the picture, I mean, you know, the saying is the picture can hide 1,000 words. There's a ton of changes incoming for Aberration. I'm going to talk about all that in this video. So if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. And for those of you that are immediately asking, yes, I am officially banned from official. I tried to get it back, my ability to play official servers back, but they said no to my rebuttal, and that's kind of how I'm going to leave it, I guess, because that's what it is. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue because obviously you can see that we have a big update for Aberration. Now, Aberration was a huge map when Ark Survival Evolved came out originally. It's a lot of people's favorite map because it totally takes away flyers. A lot of people be like, well, this is a flyer, this is it. Neither of those are flyers, they're gliders. So I'll go ahead and walk you guys through why you should be stoked about this map, because there's a ton of awesome changes. There's a ton of news in this without realizing there's a ton of news inside of this. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you that do not realize it, Aberration is coming out on September 4th with or without a major graphical update from moving, I believe that they're on 5.1 for Unreal Engine, and they're going to move over to 5.2. Now, the reason that that's so important, one, for all players, this is console and PC, you are going to get a 20% performance increase. Now, those are the numbers they're saying. Basically, what that means is your game is going to run much smoother for those of you that have to set it on low settings in order to keep up, because yes, it's a graphically intense game. You're going to get an opportunity to play at a much smoother rate, which is a huge thing, which is going to limit server crashes, client crashes. It's just going to make the game overall more playable. Now, the big reason that you want to be stoked isn't actually that. It's all of the small things inside of this that that excite me, because there's a lot of things that I look at, I'm like, okay, that's pretty freaking cool. So obviously the charge lantern picture, this is the same thing. I think they're going to be reworking the charge lantern due to the fact that the charge lantern used to be something that you kind of like stuck into the ground, was kind of useless, and everyone complained about it. And it looks like they're going to have some sort of direct shock system that maybe is a one-hit kill on Nameless. I'm hoping that that's the case, but it looks like the graphics of it changed a little bit. So did this. And then the Ravagers themselves look like they've changed. Their ears got way larger. They got much more muscular, and their front is much more elevated than the rear of the Ravager. There is an old Aberration picture, you can look at that to see what I'm actually talking about. So that's kind of cool. I'm hoping those are some changes. The big changes though, the Rock Drake got a lot smaller. The Rock Drake used to be much bigger, and in this one you can obviously see that they've kind of made it graphically a little prettier. They've shrunk it down quite a bit, in my opinion. See how, like, how do I say this? It used to be like almost considered it was a large creature, but like it was like almost Rex size. They were huge. This, with two people on it, obviously, I mean, they're not that big. It looks like they've shrunken the size, which is kind of neat. And I'm hoping that that kind of makes it a little easier to get around the map. And maybe that's why they did that. They definitely shrunk the neck, because it used to be like they would have this long neck that went up and over. This is much shorter and squatter. So hope that's something that actually happens. You can see that a lot of the images got prettier. You can see the Nameless are very not identified. You can identify all the markings of them, which is really cool, because the Nameless kind of used to be blobs on Ark Evolved. They didn't have really good graphic changes, and assuming it is like these are in-game photos, this is a much prettier overall picture of the Nameless, and that's something that's kind of cool, and I'm hoping they're changing. You'll notice that there are some pretty big changes to this as well, the actual graphical changes to the kind of sunken city, if you want to think of it that way. This used to be very trashy, it was very blocky, it was very not pretty. If it keeps this kind of, if this is actually what it looks like from the distance, because I don't know if you guys know where this is. Basically, this rock and this rock is from where you are seeing the upwards angle from Glowtail Cave looking over this right here. If this is the actual change, this is very pretty, and that means all of the structures are going to be heavily reworked. And I'm hoping that's the case, because the structures desperately needed some TLA. It was very blocky, and a lot of structures were just there, but you could just like fly through them or like clip into them. So I'm hoping they did a lot of reworking on that. And then you can see this new, I don't know if you want to call it a flyer or a whatever you want to call it, a glider. But inside of this, you can see right here, the Yi Ling is the actual creature voted thing. You can see that it's a lot larger than I thought it was going to be. This is kind of like the final image that we're seeing for it. So the actual image right now is pretty neat because it could be a flyer, it could be a glider. Judging from what I see right here, it's going to be more of a glider because see how its wings are spread out and it looks like it's kind of like hovering almost. When they typically have like this, right? Wings spread out, vertical, that's just how it is. These glider suits are super cool. This is super cool. I don't see the spider on anyone's shoulders, but they're also bringing out a spider. We'll talk about that in a second here. But you can see they're keeping the tech rifle. There's the actual tech rifle, so you can see that. So that's something to look forward to. The tech, or not the tech rifle, the tech rail gun. That was a super fun weapon. This one looks like they've reworked it, so it almost looks like a sniper rifle. So hopefully they change it because it used to be really broken because being able to shoot through walls on anybody, really kind of crazy. But if they rework it a little bit and make it more of like a tech sniper rifle, that would be super cool. I desperately hope they do something like that. But like I was saying, you can see there's some graphical changes here on that side. And then obviously I think they're going to be reworking this because it was one of the most like useless items in the entire, how do I say this? Basically all of Aberration. This was the most useless item. You could stick one in the ground and sometimes it was useful, but it was very glitchy. So hopefully they reworked how Nameless work. The Nameless look a lot prettier. Obviously we talked about that. Reapers, I'm super stoked to have Reapers back into the game. Reapers are incredibly popular both for PvP and for PvE because they can shoot things out of the sky. They are super tanky, but they're really balanced because as long as you bring a light pet nearby, they take like an insane amount of extra damage. It's like 5 or 6x damage. So it's like you can easily shred a Reaper if you know what you're doing. I love Aberration. I can't say how stoked I am enough for this, but you know, that's my personal opinion. I know a lot of people don't like it all that much because they're like, oh, it's just a map that's meant to blah, 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 blah. It's a map meant for smaller tribes. It's meant for someone that wants to play solos, duos, trios, quads, whatever you want to play. All of those smaller tribes survive much easier because there's so many rat holes, there's so many areas you can hide, and it's really easy to grind resources on Aberration. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it's something that gets some big changes. Obviously, we can see the Rockwell boss is coming back. You can see the Rockwell tentacles. I'm hoping they rework how the actual boss fight is because it's way too easy. There's a lot of glitches, but you know, I don't know if they'll actually do that, so don't quote me on that one. But assuming some of these changes do go through, it's going to be a really pretty game. Aberration is by far the prettiest map because like you've got all the like the blues and the purples and the pinks and all that kind of like the different zones. I'm hoping they rework it because I'm stoked for that. So anyways, that is just what I can tell from the picture. Now, if you haven't figured it out yet, if you have the Bob's Tall Tales, you can see the Steampunk Ascend. This is the second one. There's some big stuff coming out inside of this. We know that there's some sort of airship that's coming out. That's going to be super cool for this. There's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff like with Scorched Earth. They had like 20 or 30 different items that came out with the Bob's Tall Tales, as well as the special custom taming dino. So I'm assuming that this right here, the Yi Ling, is only going to be tameable if you have Bob's Tall Tales. It might be usable if you don't have Bob's Tall Tales, but I'm assuming that it's only going to be tameable if you have the Tall Tales because it's coming with the actual mod. But I'm not totally sure if that's what it is. We'll definitely see. Maybe it's just the Cosmo. You can see right here, this chapter introduces Cosmo. If you didn't see the last update, basically Cosmo is just a spider that you get on your shoulder that gives you a whole bunch of functions, whether it's like slinging around like Spider-Man, because that's what they said. You literally can get like shoot a web out of your shoulder and like teleport around. He's got some sort of ability to be a name like a light pet as well. So there's going to make some, I mean, Cosmo's going to be a big change for this game. And there's obviously going to be some more steampunk stuff. I'm assuming they're going to have some sort of like steampunk grinding capabilities. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. So don't quite hold me to that yet. But that's what I would look forward to if I was you guys, because that's just my thought process. So definitely keep an eye on that. So anyways, that is what we're looking there. Obviously you can see that there's a whole bunch of new mods. Athemia premium mod launch. This is a beautiful map. I haven't played it yet. I'm not going to watch the video. You can watch it on your own if you want to, but it's a really cool map. You should definitely check it out. The Genesis Catastrophe. It's meant to be, you can see right here, just, I mean, obviously mod maps are what's making this game still, even though it's struggling right now, ASA is struggling hard. It is definitely technically staying alive. So hopefully these mod maps keep getting pushed out because I am playing them. I know some people are playing them, so that's pretty cool. Conquest Server Season 2, don't recommend it, but if you were into that kind of thing, this is run by Snail Games. You can see Snail Games exclusively owns this. They've been banning a lot of people that haven't been following what they consider their rules to be, so be careful about that. They don't allow you to play inside of rat holes or cave building. You can see there are definitely increased rates and stuff like that, so keep that an eye on that. And then it basically launches 2 days after Aberration, so it gives them some time to fix a few of the problems. So definitely keep an eye on that. Ark Apocalypse, super fun. I used to play a bunch of these servers. They wipe every single month. You can see September 13th is their wipe, and they're actually introducing mods into this one. Hairstyles, Arkomatic, which is one of my favorite mods. Sunken World editions, that's really cool. Additional creatures, upgrade station, mystery crates, Clifon's backpacks, and then utilities plus. It's a super fun one. It's really only good for like the first week or two, and then after that you've either got people that are so big that there's nothing you can do about it, or the server's just kind of on its decline anyways. But if you're looking for something for like a week or two each month, Ark Apocalypse is an amazing thing that you can play, so keep an eye on that. And then obviously you see the bonus and then all the cool community content. I love looking through these. It's just a lot of fun to go through all this stuff. But anyway, so that's the big thing. Ark Aberration is coming out on the 4th. They're planning on releasing it with or without that 5.2 upgrade. So definitely looking forward to that. You should as well, because Aberration is kind of like, it was a big turnaround for the original Ark series. Ab is when a ton of people got invested into Ark because it was not just Scorched Earth, Center, Rag, and Island at that point. And after this one, I think they're introducing, if I'm not mistaken, Ragnarok, which is like a nostalgic fan favorite. So definitely keep an eye. Ark's Ascended, even though it's down to a much smaller player base than they would like, is starting to rise slowly. They are, even though they banned me, you know, I still have to give them credit because they're going in the right direction. There's a lot of things to fix about Ark, but this makes me excited. So definitely keep an eye on it. Ark is making a turnaround, and then, yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. But other than that, teach. Ow.